Lately has been fun. I'm honestly trying to limit my exposure to news and politics as of late due to it being hugely doom scrolly. If you're doing the same, I do not blame you. There is one thing though that has caught my eye that I thought was kind of worth talking about. It's the idea of the 4B movement. If you're anything like me, it's a term that the algorithm has been serving quite a lot, and I just couldn't help but look into it. Particularly in the States right now, a wave of women seem to be denouncing men. Not just men, as in refusing to date men, refusing to have lives in any way intertwined with men, in light of how the majority of men in the States have been voting in a way that's disrespectful to women's rights. But hang on, it's more than disrespectful. It is absolutely disgusting, inhumane, and downright dystopian in 2024. This is not on my bingo card. The first thing I saw was this. If I can't have a say over my body medically, No Nut November is going to be no nut ever. 10 out of 10, gotta love the meme humor, I see you. Sure, typical internet discourse, but then I saw this. Doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night and officially joining the 4B movement this morning. A white American woman. And then I saw this really long thread, again by a white American woman, about her and her bestie legit just roommates. I'm not trying to erase it, they really are just roommates who have been living together, who have adopted a child, who are having this grand old life where they're both still very much attracted to men, but refuse to interact with them in any meaningful way because other world politic views and the state of women's safety right now. And everything in the comments was like, yes, 4B! And I'm like, what is 4B? So if I'm going to come on here today to answer that question and talk a little bit about the concept, because I'm not going to lie, I don't know how I feel about it. From doing my own research, I encourage you to do the same. Don't trust everything you hear on the internet, kids. 4B is a radical feminist movement that started in South Korea in the 2010s. The term B roughly translates to no. So the 4Bs for no's are no dating men, no wow with men, no marriage to men, and no giving birth. 4 no's. And up until this week, I really didn't know that this was a thing, which isn't surprising because Western frameworks of superiority means that we often don't know too much about what's happening in other areas of the world. South Korea, meanwhile, has the lowest birth rates in the world. Their fertility rate as of 2023 stands at 0.7, which means that each South Korean cis woman will have, on average, 0.7 or 7/10 of a baby. Do not start thinking about which limbs are pixelated. Obviously, it's impossible to have 7/10 of a baby. Stats are a funny thing, and the real life application of that means that on average, most South Korean women are not having children in their lifetime. They're having less than one, no kids. Now, the threshold statistic to maintain a country's population is 2.1. 2.1, 0.7, you do the math. In South Korea, the birth rate has been this low since the 80s. It's a grand old time and longer than the 4B movement, but the 4B movement specifically came about in the 2010s as a response to a number of things happening, which may seem a little bit familiar. The first being economic insecurities among young adults. Where have we heard that one before? The second is the incredibly high rising costs of raising children, which I think goes in arm, to be fair, with economic insecurity alongside the next trigger, which is astronomically high property prices. Honestly, it's like we're all just people dealing with the same thing or something. The other bubbling trigger is a super ingrained patriarchal culture, which has led to a lot of women pushing against those traditional norms and therefore against the more traditionally aspirational roles of marriage and motherhood. There was one specific event that really made that 4B movement pop. But with all these things happening in the background and South Korea having particularly low fertility rates, the government introduced a number of incentives to try and encourage the population to have kids. Things like giving parents new grants. They've also offered larger parental leave from work, both maternity and paternity leave, and also subsidies to help pay for that astronomically priced childcare. It's a model that seems to have worked really well in Scandi countries, but lo and behold, South Korea still seems to be pretty babyless, and in more recent years, around 65% of women surveyed are still wanting that babyless dink life. Well, is it dink? Maybe it's not dink. Living that good old dink life means that you actually, as a couple, have the funds to go on holiday, to go to the cinema, to eat out at restaurants, to do things that parents often report struggling with because of the cost of having kids. But actually, this isn't that, because the 4B movement specifically does not like the idea of those relationships as meaningful relationships with men, which is quite an extreme stance to take in terms of shutting down the patriarchy, really not integrating with men. And why is it that they're doing that? Because this idea of relationships and is deemed to be an extension, the beginnings, the foundations, right, of the patriarchal family structure. I use the word extreme, the official term is radical, right, radical feminism, but what is it that actually...
Design team, come and get your award.
means if we summarize that real quick, that might be useful because Lord knows it's used incorrectly by many toughs. For example, trans-exclusionary radical feminists like to call themselves radical feminists, but it's not a radical feminist stance at all. It's just being an arsehole. There's genuinely nothing radical about bigotry or transphobia. It's like the least radical thing. Discrimination is the most annoyingly reliable thing that we've seen throughout history. But no, radical feminism, not just transphobia, actual feminism, is a view on the approach of how feminism fixes, repairs, right, to get to a truly equal feminist state. And it calls for a radical reordering of society where male supremacy is eliminated in every context, which is quite a radical approach, right, of metaphorically... metaphorically burning everything down and starting again. Because no matter how many times we try to revamp, renovate, reconstruct what we already have, all of our existing systems are built on a model of men dominating women. And so the only way to get rid of that is to get rid of those foundations and start again. No crumbs, no stains, no sauce. I think it's also important to note that radical feminism doesn't oppose men. Whilst I'm sure there probably are radical feminists out there, or feminists of any kind who would like to see certain men flung into a dungeon, the idea of radical feminism isn't about being a man-hater. It's about being a patriarchy hater, the system that puts men above women. So it's not calling for the eradication of men, okay? No one is saying here that we are going to Thanos snap men of any kind away. And like many movements in society, the 4B movement specifically gained traction when this patriarchal society reared its very ugly head in Korea in 2016 when a woman's life was taken by a man who claimed that he did it because women ignore him. That criminal was then later not charged with a hate crime, and in response to that and the surrounding misogynistic content, the 4B movement really popped, along with the motto of the 4Bs: no marriage, no procreation, no relationship, no sex. It is therefore hugely unsurprising to see a similar response considering the parallels that are currently happening with the states and the latest election results. Women are seeing a candidate who has literally been convicted of a crime, crimes for that matter, and whose appointment as president ripples into this legitimizing, quote-unquote, legitimizing misogyny and genuinely regressing fundamental human rights. Surprise, surprise, women are not really the biggest fan of the patriarchy right now. Flipping back to Korea for a moment, one of the things that immediately comes to mind is the beauty and the skincare industry. They are, after all, the 10th largest beauty market in the world and in the top 4 exporting countries of cosmetics, alongside the States, France, and Germany. In other words, the perception of the beauty standards and therefore the pressure to comply and conform to beauty standards must be hella high in South Korea. And that's just what I'm hearing, little old me here in the UK, about a country on the other side of the world. Imagine what it must feel like to be a woman in South Korea feeling that direct pressure firsthand. The 4B movement envelops this resistance too, with this conceptual idea of a corset. When I think corset, I think Elizabeth Turner. Yes, I am talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, but in all representations that we've seen of corsets, they're stifling, they're painful, they are fake, because no woman's waist is this thin. And so the 4B movement and this idea of the corset captures the sexual, social, bodily, all forms of oppression that women face, which of course includes toxic and unrealistic and unmaintainable and unachievable beauty standards. And so the 4B's response to this, in order to defy that pressure of having to look and maintain and be and act and buy and put on skincare and makeup in a certain way, they are destroying makeup, they are rejecting fashion, and they are also shaving their heads, which again makes sense as to why my timelines at the moment are featuring this kind of content of white American women shaving their heads. And that brings us back to what is happening in the States right now. After the election results, where Trump has won a second term, online videos of the 4B movement have been trending, and the Google search term for 4B has been up by 450%. And whilst it might be really tricky to determine the scale of 4B in the States and also in South Korea and just how widespread and pertinent it's become, there is no denying the amount of discourse that's been happening online among young American women. Whether that be women shaving their heads, vowing to join, boycotting businesses even, to leaving their partners. One woman interviewed by CNN, who's seemingly become a bit of a spokesperson about the 4B movement in the States, said that she learned about it a few years ago in 2022 and since hasn't dated or slept with men, and realised that she's actually better off alone. Pollard says that she plans on using her own resources to support herself and still wants children, but would like to raise that child alone, and went on to clarify that this isn't an act of vengeance, but an act of putting yourself first and being able to remind women that actually there is a choice for you out there. You can advocate, you can spread awareness, and you can remind people that they have options, especially people who may not realize that's the case because they're brought up in really Republican, conservative networks where you're just taught, right, that this is the one way to be. You don't even question the status quo. Very High School Musical. And personally, regardless of my thoughts on the 4B movement generally, I think this is a really powerful reminder to have. This idea that people generally, but definitely as women, we have options. We are powerful. Now, I'm not sure how massively this is going to stick and how many people are going to be receptive to that message, especially because if we look at the most recent statistics from the election result, an alarming number of women, specifically white women and Hispanic women, make that make sense, have been voting for the policies that literally regress their own rights. How, I will never know. But I'm really hopeful that this message of option, of freedom, of autonomy, even if the 4B movement doesn't. So why is it that I'm seeming against 4B? I just want to clarify, like, I'm not against it. Like with everything, I think people like to feel like they're part of a community, part of something greater than oneself, especially when we're feeling really helpless. And the problem with boxes is that as people, we're not designed to fit in them. So there are always going to be parts of that box that don't fit you. I'm not saying that the 4B movement is not a good thing. I'm also not saying it is a good thing. I'm asking you to think critically and to make choices for yourself, being fully informed, because yes, it's so easy to get swept up in things, and especially things that sound like, on the face of it, pretty kick-ass, right? Women defying the patriarchy? Who doesn't want to get aboard that train? I wanted to end this video by highlighting 3 things that I question about the movement, and just want to make sure that people are being fully aware of questionable elements that I would want to sit with a little bit longer and think about properly before associating and spreading this term too far without fully knowing what it means. The first thing that makes me feel a little bit iffy about 4B is the stances that they have in terms of other identities. Women should be able to do whatever the hell we want, absolutely. Especially if as a woman you are feeling unsafe about the men in your network. I have no problems whatsoever with women having autonomy over who they date and what they do with their bodies. But I do think it's easy to come away from hearing about the 4B movement and being like, it's a safe haven sanctuary for women. Sounds like heaven. But on the face of it, there are definitely signs that 4B is not as inclusive as it may seem. I'm a huge supporter, always have been, always will be, that one is not free until we are all free. And unfortunately, the official 4B movement has definitely shown signs of homophobia and transphobia. It doesn't mean that everybody who associates with 4B is of course homophobic or transphobic. That is not the case. But like with all views and all members of communities, there are going to be some mixed opinions. There are going to be some clashes, and some of these seem to be on LGBT plus rights. Those with particularly extreme views use quite derogatory language towards gay and trans people, which I think is just as disappointing to see as misogyny, if I'm being really honest with you. And these messages of inclusivity that somehow for some people seems to have turned into excluding other people goes beyond the LGBT plus community to actually inciting violence and advocating for things like revenge against men, but also other women who may not agree with what they're doing. For example, women who do decide that they want to have children, they'll view as slaves and not treat very kindly. As I said, this is not all of the 4B movement, but there are definitely moments and nuggets of this extremism, which just doesn't sit well with me, and also makes no logical sense, because if you're trying to advocate for personal choice, which is where all of this is coming from, freedom and autonomy for women, right? Why is it that that also includes taking away the choice for other women? That shouldn't involve taking away the choice for women who want to have kids with men and be within any kind of family structure of which man is involved in. I totally understand how lack of your own personal freedom and choice can lead to hate and anger. It's really sad to see when that hate and anger is then fueled into taking choice away from other people. And of course, violence is never an okay thing to do. The second point that I'd love to sit with a little bit longer in terms of the 4B movement is the impact that can have to further isolate men. And I get it. The conversation, at least in the states that I've been seeing, is all about protecting women, protecting yourself as a woman. And I really don't think it's the role of women to be like, but hang on a minute, let's think about the men as we do this. At the same time, though, I do think that we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't recognize that a lot of the problematic views that we have in today's society of men towards women come from the fact that they haven't been raised sensitively to any kind of journey that lies outside the privilege of men. It is true that the horribly misogynistic men had different past experiences where they were exposed and taught of the importance of treating women with respect and as equals. There would be far less misogynistic and horrible men out there today. I don't have the answers to this, but I would hazard a guess that if everybody was to join the 4B movement and there was to be a total separation between men and women, it would only lead to men understanding women even less than they do now, because what we'd be doing is providing even less of an opportunity for men to understand the importance of seeing what women go through. And again, autonomy is the crux of this, right? Every person should be doing what they feel safe doing. It is not your responsibility to baby other people. At the same time, the rippling effects of that don't just harm men being less exposed and therefore more ignorant and therefore less able to reach this like ideal standard, right, of genuine harmony and genuine perception of equality. I think it could really end up harming a lot lot of women too, because the results of men being even more ignorant is that the women that do associate with them, whether it be these trad wives, these women who are voting red for whatever bloody reason, they are still going to be treated worse and worse and worse as a result of that ignorance. And I'm just not sure if that's like a great move. I don't know, maybe I'm not thinking radically enough, but it's definitely a point that is just not sitting right with me. And the third and final point that doesn't sit quite right with me in the 4B movement is how this all comes into play and works in terms of sexuality. As an LGBT plus person myself, who's gone through quite the journey, as I'm sure many of you will know, in terms of my sexuality and being told who I can and cannot love, I can tell you firsthand that that is not a nice feeling. A lot of my loved ones is LGBT plus, a lot of my community is LGBT plus, and there is a reason that we are still fighting so goddamn hard to make sure that things like conversion therapy are made fully illegal, because not being able to act upon your attraction and act upon your love has a hugely detrimental impact, not just to your well-being, but to your inner core and sense of self. Most importantly, anybody who advocates for LGBT plus rights will be the first to tell you that you are not in control of who you are attracted to. It is not a choice. If it were, trust me, I'm sure a lot of people would choose not to be attracted to men. But the sometimes sad reality is that we can't change that. In some ways, the forcefulness of 4B being like, no, you cannot marry, you cannot have relationships, you cannot with men, it's also saying, no, forcefully, you cannot act on who you are attracted to. And I get it. It's a choice. People are not being forced to join the 4B movement. This is something that you voluntarily enter into. I'm just being really honest and vulnerable with you here. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel right that the leading factor of that has so many parallels to the controversial therapies and practices that are often used, still used today, to try and turn LGBT plus people into not being LGBT plus people. And we all know that that doesn't end well. Overall, I guess the long-lasting effects depends on how all of this is enforced. I can see how 4B can go from this really cool, empowering message of, remember women, you have a choice. You don't need to be with these scummy men. You don't need to be with people who make you feel unsafe. You have options. To just another way of women not being able to choose for themselves because someone else in a position of authority is being like, we said no this, we said no that. Because, and don't take this out of context when I say it, not all men are gross. And if a woman wants to be with a man and that man is creating a safe environment for them and their family, I don't see any problems with that. And I see just as much of a problem with a blanket ban that judges someone based just on the fact of their gender marker, in the same way that women are facing the biggest issues of the world right now. I personally would much rather be advocating for a world where the end result is that men are capable of being respectful and decent to women, and women are capable of being respectful and decent to men, instead of a world where there is such a drastic division in men and women not integrating. And maybe 4B, with this tear it down and build it up again approach, where that can happen. But it definitely feels like there's a lot of sensitivity that could get in the way. All of this to say that I do think the current discourse on 4B is intriguing, and at the very least will help women, particularly in the States, feel a lot more empowered with their ability to make decisions. And personally, I quite like the fact that this current discourse recognizes that this fight for women's rights does not start or is only situated in America. It is a resistance that belongs on the worldwide stage, and a lot of white-dominating communities have ignored the plight of women in POC countries for far too long. We are living in some wild times at the moment, and regardless of... So,
First of all, I do want to say, thank y'all for joining the Ella Gray Being Random podcast. Thank y'all so much. First of all, I just want to say women need to start respecting themselves, because you want to gain respect from men, but you doing what Sexy Red telling you for to do, and all this extra stuff, Cardi B and all them, all these crazy women rappers, y'all want to be listening to them, and then at the same time, hold on, y'all. Hold on. For real? Okay. That's good. Well, I know. It got to be. For you to be. For you. Oh, yeah. Um, it sure do. It will. Yeah. Oh. Okay. I'm trying to record this on my own podcast. Oh. You hear me? So I'm trying to finish recording this on my podcast. I'll call you back. Okay, first of all, I want to say, yeah, women need to start respecting themselves, especially if they want to get respect from men, especially good-hearted men, respectable men, upright, good, good men that do their thing. They respect women, love women, but it's starting to be very, very few. I feel, Lord, I feel kind of worried about the future, especially for my grandsons, and being able to have a nice, good, wholesome woman. I ain't lying. I don't know. I've been praying. I'm praying in advance for them, to get, find a nice, good, wholesome woman that, really love God and grounded in God and the Holy Spirit, and yeah, I'm praying. I'm really praying. Y'all need to be praying too, because I'm telling you, if they keep on having these Sexy Reds and Cardi B's and all this other type of the other girls that be cutting up rapping, man, I tell you the truth. And then the B4 movement, because I don't know a whole lot. I'm just doing some research on it. In a way, it's a good thing because y'all supposed to already be, thinking about who you having sex with anyway, who you dating with anyway, and who you supposed to marry anyway, and who you supposed to have children with. You're supposed to be doing that from the gate anyway. You're supposed to get married before you even have sex or children. So, yeah, it's a good thing in a way. Good, especially the ones that are going to be serious about it. I'm hoping and praying that God will continue, dealing with them, on a spiritual level of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what y'all supposed to be doing anyways. Keeping your body, safe, secured, all that until you find you a husband. Now, see, they trying to do it to what a point where they're not saying they're doing it to find a husband or wait on their husband. That's the only thing. So that's why I say I hope God start conditioning their mind, as they going through this process to be like, okay, you've been doing good. I know you want a man. You're just going through this little phase. I know you want a man. So you've been doing good. So this is now you can transfer that to a spiritual aspect. You know what I'm saying? Just not just a movement of because it's Trump. Do it because of God. That's what they need to do. I hope God, yeah. So yeah. I really do hope that they transition. Because God has his ways of doing stuff. And they don't even know. You know what I'm saying? That they started this too. They don't even know how God can actually really start transforming that. So I'm for it, to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, where I stop at is because you said because of Trump and you want to be so control of your body, this and then third, instead of just doing it for God. That's why I stop it with it. So, hold on. Let me see what this lady here finna say, because she sounds like she finna be ignorant to this situation. Hold on.
November happened, and now the girlies are going celibate. So let's talk about it. That was an oversimplification, but we all know Tuesday happened, Trump won, and as a result, everybody is terrified of a lot of things. If you are an immigrant, if you are a part of the Liga Ticket Committee, if you are a woman, if you're in a minority group, you're a little concerned. A little bit. Not just because of Trump and the way he talks and all that stuff, but because if you know about Project 2025, you're like, girl, excuse me? And even if you're not in those marginalized groups, if you care about the education system and just America, you know. Either way, what's done is done. And as a result, a lot of the girlies are, kind of playing the blame game. Everyone's tossing around whose fault is it, especially now that the exit polls are coming out. And something interesting that the exit polls are showing is that Trump gained a bit more traction with young men this go round compared to 2020. And, these young men don't exist in a vacuum. They are out here every day, and some of them might be sleeping next to you.
Please sign the petition and urge Congress to make...
Now, the 4B movement has been gaining a bit more traction on the TikTok. Last night I was like, I want to do a video about this. I went to my Googles and there were so many articles already coming out about it. So let's talk about it. Also, just so you know, I'm posting more videos like this on my second channel. It will be linked in the pinned comment below. You can get merch from me here. And I'm potentially starting a book club. I'll talk all about all of that at the end of the video. So the 4B movement is a movement from South Korea that kind of gained its traction in 2016. You could say somewhat inspired by the Me Too movement. Again, these things don't exist in a vacuum though. And it's basically a movement about swearing off men. It's called the 4B movement because the words that they use actually start with a B, and
it's going to be a lot of masturbation going on, I know that.
E is in Korean, and it's actually a Chinese character for saying not to do. So 4B means females do not want to have sex. They do not want to date Korean men. They do not want to marry, and they do not want to give birth.
The girlies are saying they're doing without heterosexual sex, dating men, heterosexual marriage, and childbirth, possessions and things. If you want to treat our bodies like the main priority and goal is that they can only have sex, be sexed, and give birth, then we're going to remove all of those options from you on the table. Let's see.
And I just thought about it. That's gonna promote more gay, lesbians and gay stuff. To be honest, it's gonna promote more gay stuff because they saying they don't want the man. Oh my God! I just thought about that. Need some prayers. You have to pray. Because I'm telling you, it's some slick stuff going on. It's some slick stuff gonna be going on. Oh wait. I know them gay girls. Yes indeed. Let me stop.
See how you like it, in so many words. And this has gotten so wild that a few of the articles that I've read point out that Korea has, for the first time, a higher death rate than birth rate. So, might not be the only thing contributing to that, but listen.
Wow.
So you have this movement that's slowly gaining traction over the last couple of years online in this part of the world. And then the election happens, and the girlies are realizing, oh, I could be dating men out here that would literally vote against my reproductive rights, or not vote at all, as in not even care about my reproductive rights. They would be willing to sleep with me, to have a child with me, to marry me, or to date me, or hook up, whatever, but they don't really give a fuck about my rights and my autonomy and personhood as a woman. Yeah. No, thank you. I should say that.
And again, they don't be caring. They don't be giving a F about their own body, their own self. So what the world? I'm telling you, boy. Oh Lord, that doggone girl, Sexy Red. They need to do something with her. I am so serious. She is out of control. Like, I'm so serious. She needs to be sitting on side of a garbage dumpster, and just sit there. Yeah. She needs to be a part of the garbage dumpster. Yeah, just be on wherever they place them at. She needs to be placed right there on the side of. And anybody and everybody who even join her, whoever like her, whoever buys her music, they need to be sitting right there too. I'm just saying. Horrible.
Already been, and I've talked about this a bit on this channel before, a growing number of people considering celibacy, considering just abstaining from dating because the bar is in hell and we're tired of going to hell and back just to, go on a date. It's a lot. Lately, the girlies are fed up. They're over the shit. We saw recently with the man versus bear argument, the amount of men that were like, I don't appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. And I even came to some of their defense because I was like, I get it to the extent of like, if you're a young man watching these videos, it must be disheartening. It must feel shitty to be like, wow, everybody just think men suck. But then we also, and I said it in that video too, some people don't want to see it, but we also got to acknowledge the why. Why do women feel fed up? Why are women tired? Why is there so much literature and language and media around women complaining about men and patriarchy? Whether it's,
And also, what you have in you, it attracts. That's what you attract. Whatever you have in you, that's what you're going to attract. Come on now. They need to think about that. Get that garbage and that triflingness and that whorishness way out of you. Get it away from you and replace it with being modest, humble, meek, loving, kind, respectable. You understand what I'm saying? Get all that up in you. So when you have all that up in you, you can attract that. I'm just saying. That's for a whole nother podcast.
Just complaining about men in maybe a less articulate way, their grievances, real concerns, real anger, to the more dissertation, articulate unpacking and examination of patriarchy and misogyny. There's a whole spectrum of language that women have been using for a while now about their fed upness with men, to the point where this movement coming from Korea, being here, is not new. It's like political lesbianism in a way. And that was something that was going on during second wave feminism. You know, a woman without a man is a fish without a bicycle. We don't need them, girl. We never did. So what are we doing, right? I completely understand the perspective, the point of view. Y'all know I'm pansexual, so I date everywhere, and I can compare and contrast some notes between different genders and different expressions. And even if somebody has different gender expression and identity versus how they were social.
What is pansexual, y'all? Hey Siri, what is pansexual?
Pansexual refers to someone who is romantically, emotionally, or sexually attracted to people of any gender or regardless of their gender. This answer is from dictionary.com.
There you go, y'all.
How that contributes. It's wild, but I have some concerns.
She just freaked.
Remember earlier in the year when we were blocking all those celebrities? Yeah, what happened with that? I understood the sentiment. I thought it was a cool one. I thought it was maybe a little bit too focused on the celebrities and not as focused on like the power behind them and even the power behind politicians, the money behind it. But thought it was an interesting experiment. Thought it could be cool to see what happens with this and if people are really like done with idealizing celebrities, because talk about celebrities a lot on this channel. I talk about relationship to that. I don't think that they are better than me, and neither should you. You can appreciate their work and their talent and all of that, and appreciate it all with a grain of salt. But either way, everyone was so ready to start blocking celebrities and running them off websites and commenting on everything that they post. Why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. What ended up happening was celebrities just either stopped engaging online completely or just completely ignored it. And eventually it lost steam and people stopped caring as much. And that's what I fear about this 4B movement. Even though I know that people are like, no, we're sticking to this. We're going to figure out ways to organize, because that was just celebrity gossip, whatever. This is like a domestic issue. This is people's lives. Yeah, but we forget about how reactionary a lot of us can be. And I'm like it too. You know, in the immediate, I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's fucking fight. And then if you don't have a plan, if you don't have like longevity to it, if you don't have ways to sustain something, it can't sustain itself. Eventually people get tired. Look at how many millions of less people turned out to vote this time, either because they were actively protesting, sitting it out for whatever reasons, or they were just tired. People are just like, I'm politicaled out. And you can say it's a privilege to be tired and politicaled out. I agree. However, you might not think it's a privilege if you can't focus on that because you're busy with work and you're tired and you're stressed out and you're trying to make money. The other thing that I want to point out is that the issues for a lot of Americans, reproductive rights was on the ballot, yes, but so was the economy and so was immigration. And it seemed like a lot of people were more concerned about those two. We're prioritizing those two. And if money is your priority, if making sure that your money is right because the inflation is wild, you might care a little bit less about somebody in X part of the states not being able to have abortion rights or whatever. And you could say, well, it affects those women too. It affects all women. It is a women's issue. Yes, girl. But poor women are also dealing with the economy as a women's issue. That's a women's issue. It's an all of us issue. It's not just women. But you know what I mean? Like, everybody is not going to value the same politics equally. Unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in. And as much as I would love to see a movement where the sisters are doing it for themselves and really sticking it to them, I think this has a good sentiment and frustration and steam behind it. But I think that there are things that we could learn from that aren't fictional, because I know a lot of people were pointing out that Lysistrata, that Greek comedy where the women decide to go on a sex strike to stop the men from going to war. There's a real example of women doing strikes and things and standing up for their things and getting their things. One of them is Iceland. They had a day where the ladies were just like, oh, we're just not you're gonna see the issues of not caring about women and women's wages, because we're not gonna show up. And the thing that I also find interesting about this Icelandic strike for equal pay, because they got their pay gap, and if you watch the video, I'll link it below, you'll see they got their pay gap from around 40% difference to just under 10% difference now. Not obviously in one foul swoop, but this was one of the catalysts for that. They had women leaders from different sides of the political spectrum, people that were a bit more anarchist, people that were a bit more centrist, people that were a bit more conservative. And so how do you get them to all agree? But then this woman in her 70s, one of the centrists was like, just, you don't like the word strike? Call it a day off. And so the ladies are like, all right, work. We're not going to work at home, aka doing the second shift, the domestic labor. We're not going to work outside of the home. And you're going to see just how fundamental women are to this economy. So if that's for pay gaps, let's say, what is something that you can do for reproductive rights? What is a national kind of strike, besides wearing the pussy hats? Like, what do we do beyond that, right? I'm not saying I have answers. I'm just saying if we want something like that to keep going, as opposed to we're online talking about it and it's gaining traction from a bunch of news articles and stuff, but like, it's not as organized, right? Like, even something like the Jane Collective, if you've never heard of that, I talked about it a bit in my abortion video when Roe v. Wade was first overturned, but you can learn about them. There's a documentary on Max, I believe, that talks about them as well, and there are lots of podcasts and stuff. But they were out here giving safe abortions to women, not legally. Not legally, but they were out here doing their thing before Roe v. Wade. So there are ways to organize and get together. There are ways to protest and strike, so to speak. And if the ladies are like, we want to do a lady strike and you don't get none of this, I think also it would have been better to do it before the election. I'm just saying, I think if you guys want to do getting ready to organize a 4-year strike before the next federal, even though there are other local elections that you could maybe do that, because everything starts locally, but the local level, if there are protests in your area that y'all can do where you get a whole group of women together and y'all start protesting, and that may be listen, post-nut clarity is a thing. And if you are going to the polls and you haven't had any, and you are in a relationship with a woman and she not giving you none, or you're not dating or anything and all that stuff, I don't know if it might push you further to the extremist rightist. Maybe it'll push the gender gap further, or maybe it'll get some of y'all to listen, to care about my...
No, all they gonna do is all them Negroes gonna do is go trick off. That's all they gonna do. They're gonna be on Backpage and all this type of other stuff. They're gonna be, getting them prostitutes and all that. So, that's all they're gonna do. They just gonna go trick off. I don't know what y'all be thinking. I do not know what y'all be thinking. They are going to go trick off. If they're in a relationship and they wife or they woman, their girlfriend be like, oh, they ain't gonna... Girl, you gonna be real stupid if you think that man. Because he ain't gonna be keep masturbating. He know he can go trick out. Get a little, about $100, $200, I guess. I don't know how much. But he gonna get something from somebody, somewhere. The world.
My human rights as a fellow person on this earth. I don't know. But I think if there's a way, if y'all could have done this before the election, I think that would have been real. I'm kidding. I don't know if it would have changed outcomes, but either way, I'll link the things below so y'all can check some of those things out.
Oh, I just thought about it. These OnlyFans girls gonna get some money now. Get a whole lot more money now. Oh, and these prostitutes now, they're gonna be racking it up now. So, yeah.
I've learned to be cautious not even cautiously optimistic, just cautious about online protest movement things that start. Not saying that it's all for nothing, but I think we're in a time where the internet is just a bit too algorithm centered and ad driven that like it's hard to expect the same sort of effects that we saw in the earlier days of social media with protest and organizing. I think it's maybe not fair to assume that we can use the internet the same way that we were even just 10, 15 years ago. But anyway, that's a whole other change for another point. What do y'all think? Are you withholding? Are you withholding? Are you gonna not date, not have heterosexual marriage, not have heterosexual sex, not have children, get cats? What are y'all doing? If you're a fella, are you scared? You should be. I'm kidding. Kidding. But if you're a dude, if you're a dude on this channel, the chances that you voted for Trump are very slim. I'm not going to say it's impossible because 32 years on this earth, anything's possible. But the chances are quite slim. But yeah, what do y'all think? I'm so curious about this. Again, I'm not going to hold my breath and go, oh yeah, all the girls are going to be, by this time next year, America's birth rate's going to be so low, it's wild. Because the other thing logistically we have to think about is that America is a huge country. Like, South Korea is smaller. Population-wise, yeah, 51 million. Canada has about 40 million. The United States is 334 million people. You know how hard it is to get 150 million people to organize? Because I'm thinking half the population is women. Anyway, but let's see. Maybe I will be pleasantly surprised. Who knows? Like I said at the beginning of this, I am going to be posting more videos like this on my second channel, so you can check that out in the pinned comment below. And this channel, again, is going to be reserved for once a month deep dive video essay things. So yeah. And I'm going to be potentially starting a book club. I'm doing some market research. So if you are interested in the book club, if you would be down for that, if you are thinking more fiction or nonfiction, and if you would be willing to pay like a certain amount a month, like 20-ish bucks a month or so, let me know. And yeah, because I'm trying to gauge interest to see how many people would actually be interested, because it's going to be kind of like a cool book club / like media club with pairing like books and movies together and stuff, because I love to talk about all that. So, or books and music and stuff.
Anyway, anywho, like I said, this is crazy. Like they need to rethink some stuff, and they're gonna have to rethink some stuff. And I'm so serious. They need to rethink some stuff, because this is just ridiculous at this point. It's ridiculous. If they think that these men is not gonna be having sex, baby, y'all are just as stupid can get. Look at this woman. She say, honey, hold on.
Your child needs these 3 key factors to get into an Ivy League or top 25 university.
Subscribe. Let's go.
Did she clap back?
That 4B decenter man movement is dumb.
Oh, come on.
I don't care what nobody says.
I found me one.
Sound dumb. Like, for one, regardless what these men vote,
I found me one.
Nobody have control over your body but you. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're engaged. I don't care what your situation is. If you're not planning for a baby, then you should be on birth control. Period. Like,
I found me one. Somebody got some sense.
But for the most part, things don't be happening to y'all. Y'all just be irresponsible.
Ooh,
and y'all don't care about nothing until y'all miserable.
Let me invite her to my podcast.
And I also feel like y'all need to stop this decenter men and recruiting other women to be bitter with you because you're mad because you don't get a certain type of treatment from dudes because you date men that don't like you. If you can't get no flowers, if you can't get no chocolate, if you can't get no date, if you can't get a certain type of treatment, that means that you're convenient and he don't like you. You don't have to decenter men. Go find dudes that actually like you, that actually want to give you a certain type of treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all sound crazy. Like, and then it's like y'all talking about decenter men. Like, who y'all gonna beg? Nah. Who y'all gonna beg?
They are going to beg you. If they are not going to deal with men, they will be in your house eating all your food. Hell, maybe even want to get a little friendly with you.
I can smell the cooter going now.
Y'all don't want to do the 4B movement in America because you can't close your legs. And I understand, I'm married, so, you know what I mean? Like, but the girls in the continent of Asia that's doing the 4B movement, you in America, you can't do it because you can't stop having. You can't stop popping that cat. That's what it is. That's why the girls in America can't really stick together and do the 4B movement, because you can't stop playing with. You can't stop playing with your. You know what I'm trying. You can't stop allowing people to get up in there. You can't be celibate or abstinent. Like, that's really what it is. Because I don't believe in the 4B movement. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's just a waste of doing something. And don't nobody come to comments and be like, because I genuinely am not going to read them comments. But y'all know y'all not doing that 4B movement over here in the United States. Y'all like to party, club, bounce, pop that, put suppositories in afterwards. That's all y'all want to do. That's all y'all like to do. And I don't think y'all should be doing it. I think y'all should be focusing on yourself, cleansing yourself, having a come to Jesus moment. And if you want to still use your cat, I feel like you should just settle down and get ready to be married. That's what I think you should do. But y'all not going to do that either.
It's just a cry for help because no one is checking for them. And also the possibility that they're using this as a pathway to the other side.
Why in a moment of distress people don't set realistic goals for themselves? Y'all are 4B movementing me to death, and y'all do not know the first thing about being anybody's 4 or B. 4B movements, let me reiterate for y'all, means y'all not going to be with no man, y'all not going to be dealing with no man, y'all not going to be having intercourse with no man, y'all not going to be dating no man. It's just going to be you, yourself, and you and your homegirls, okay? And some women can do this because this is something they have been practicing for a long amount of time. But a lot of us cannot, and I'm including myself and a lot of us. Instead of feeling like because now all of these restrictions may be placed on women that you just have to decenter men, right? You have to just say F all men. How about you date with a purpose? Hear me out. How about you only involve yourself with men who you can see yourself having a child with? How about you abstain until you meet someone who is worthy of your goods? How about refocusing on that? How about not cutting off something that you don't want to cut off, but rather putting yourself first, ensuring that you are your first priority?
Black women must accept not who they think they are, but who they actually are. We all must accept and embrace our authentic selves.
Because see, baby, when you are your first priority and you are dating and you meet someone, that person will also make you their first priority. And you see, if you like that person in return, you're going to make that person your first priority, right? And so now your man is making you his first priority. You're making that man your first priority. So everyone is being prioritized. And everyone is happy. But that starts with putting yourself first. That starts with not letting this any old nigga, okay, run through you. That starts with ensuring that you are using your discernment, that you are vetting people properly, right? That starts with only dealing with people that's on your level. That starts with not being delusional about who's not on your level.
Put God first, then yourself. I'm just saying.
Sometimes he may be out of your league, sis. Let's start there. Okay, let's set realistic goals. And then you got people talking about, oh, you need to break up with your man and you need to get divorced. Who? Because I'm not leaving my man for nothing, baby. And some good men and willing to say, maybe I should, big idiot. Set better goals, be more realistic, and you'll have less to worry about. Stay safe.
So I've been seeing a lot of conversation about the 4B movement and women saying that women and men apparently are saying that women in America should join the 4B movement and stop engaging with men. And I don't believe that's the right direction for us to go in, respectfully. You see, Americans, and maybe it's human nature, but Americans definitely have a tendency to join a movement and then begin to feel superior to others who aren't in the movement because they are in the movement. And I just don't think that that's what we need right now. Now, do I think that the women who are knowingly with men who actively voted against her and all of our bodily rights and interests deserve to be shamed? Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, shame them more. We have done enough, quite frankly. What I'm not for is just the mere shaming and bashing of women who continue to be involved with men. That's a bit much, and I don't think we need to go down that route. I think we should just respect the fact and understand the fact that while there is going to be an increase of women who stop being involved with men, there will also be an amount of women who continue. And it is what it is, and that's okay.
Of course, our civilization depends on it. Also, who's going to run the infrastructure when we age out?
Oh, so you really gonna just let that man just have that much control and power over you? That kind of stuff, we're not doing that. We're not. That's ew. Ew. You are well within your right to make the decision on how you choose to move forward with men in this new society we're entering. But y'all lose me when y'all start trying to shame other women for not choosing the path you chose. That's your path. So you walk it with pride and understand that other folks gonna have their own stride. Amen. Amen. I need for us to be for real. Y'all are asking for all straight women to just opt out. And as someone who's opted out, I get it. I'm doing it myself.
I bet you are, ma'am. As for these women that want to cut off men and tiptoe off to the other side, just remember, them babies don't come from men. Anywho, it's just basically femcells trying to get some attention. It'll be over with in about a couple days. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love you.
Yeah. So, y'all heard that. I found me somebody that agrees, wholeheartedly agree with me. I'm so glad. It's a blessing. Let me see. What did she say? What did she say? Ooh. Oh, okay. But anyway, wait, what she said? Hold on. She said, hold on. Did she say that? Wait a minute. Oh, did she tell me?
Hey, Josh.
Hold on. Did she say? Okay, let me press it. She want me to come.
Hey, Kat.
Hello, Cheryl. Joshua.
What in the wrong was he doing?
What's up, people?
Hey, Candace.
Hey, Kat. Hey, Candace.
Hey.
Cheers. Hey, Kat. Good evening. Candace, how's that beautiful son doing of yours?
He is doing well, keeping us on our toes.
Boys are the best. I had a daughter. Let me tell you, if I had to go back and do it over, I had 5 boys. One girl drive me nuts. She's in college now, though, but girls are a lot.
I got a new son.
Selena.
Hey, man.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Liz.
Hello.
Why you saying hello like that?
Because I don't know if he's sober or not, and I don't want to engage too much until I find out.
That was a real corporate hello.
Because he needs to get his act together before I say hello.
My act is together.
Anyway, Candace, girl, did you see that Carlos King is kicking Mel off the show and Stormy not coming back?
What? I saw that Stormy is not coming back. She left in April. But wait a minute. We're kicking Mel off? Why?
Apparently, Mel not coming back either, and they're making the Scots the focal point. So, yeah.
They so. But did you see Monique? Caught herself spilling some tea about how Carlos did her worse than the Potomac producers.
No.
Who child? Let me send it to you. Stand by.
Okay. I love Monique. I hate that she's not on TV anymore. I really wish she would go back to Potomac because they over there flopping bad, child.
You talking about Monique Samuels?
Yes,
I love her. I watch her Wednesday YouTube. I love her. I didn't know she got divorced, y'all.
Yeah, that's so sad. But they got our little Raggedy Mia over there acting like it's Love and Hip Hop, and I just want to throw up every doggone show.
Mia Moore.
She is so ghetto. Like, she is so doggone ghetto.
Yeah, but they should bring Monique back to Potomac, and she belong over there. But she doing her own thing, honey. She ain't hurting for no dollars. That's for sure.
Yeah. I like
She
all
ain't hurting. She so like.
Does anyone watch Detroit? Love and Marriage
I
Detroit?
try to, and the DC. I can't get into it like I do with the other ones. I guess if I sit still, maybe I could, but
Yeah.
you know, you watch the other ones so long, it's like you know them.
What about Married to Medicine? Anybody?
I didn't watch it. I gotta catch up.
I like
I
that.
love Married to Medicine.
They got a week before they come back on.
Oh, I can't wait.
I love them. Oh my god, I love
Mm-mm.
Whatever.
Why? What y'all did? Now see. Y'all tripping.
A lot of people feel like
I like her. She's the mother of the bunch. She keep them in line.
She's so funny.
But she's straightforward. She don't bite her.
And she not gonna
Do people die on these shows? Do they
No, Josh, they don't die on these shows.
So that's why I don't watch. Yeah, we need some action. We need some gun shootout fights.
That's stupid.
You know, hand-to-hand combat. So just
the rifle bands still come on WeTV.
mighty God. Oh, hey, I'm about to Cap. What is your condition tonight, Cap? I just need to know for my research. What is your present status?
I feel like because I'm a dark skinned man, I'm being racially profiled to be intoxicated. And I don't like that.
I ain't asked you all that. I ain't asked you all that. I just said, what is your
my condition is fair. Fair. Thank you.
As a chocolate woman, I understand that thoroughly.
His condition is lying.
I know you ain't lying since 2009, so you need to put that on somebody else.
His condition is lying.
I love her, but it's always something. I just watched the video you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Always something. God damn, Monique.
I just got one question. Is Barbie still here? I got one question for you.
Yes, I'm watching my son put the bulbs in the Christmas tree wrong, and I'm gonna have to change all of them because I don't like the way it looks. No, I'm still here.
Just let him be free. Let that creep be free.
Perfect. My question to you, Barbie, is why does it seem like, and this might be a tangent to start the room, but why does it seem like so many successful women be having so many problems in their relationships with men? You know, successful men, they're different. Well, why is that, Dr. Barbie?
Control. They like Cap, do you hear me? Do you hear me, Cap? Listen to my response. Control. Some women who are successful or who have high status, they have a sense of control. So it's kind of hard for them to break out of that. So they're going to tend to want to lead in their relationship, and no matter what the guy wants or how he thinks it should go, because they have been successful for so long, they feel like they know it. Like they know everything, and it's hard for them to let go and let their guy.
So, Dr. Bobby, is this your way of telling me something I already know that you already know that you know when you know how to make sense, but you often don't do it because you're full of shit? Is that what this is?
No, I'm telling you, I'm balanced. I can speak to each gender. That's what so you're now I have to point it out for you every time I'm going against women.
You don't have to ever point out. I know when you're full of it. Thank you.
Anyways, Josh, yes, it's basically successful women wanting a sense of control.
I mean, because it has to do, I think, right, talking about, women marrying down, all this other stuff. I just find it interesting that usually the more successful a woman becomes. And Leia said, I'm not starting this honest question, Leia. This is not toxic. I just want some insight. Like, why does it look like the more successful a woman becomes, the more they usually struggle in their romantic relationships? You know, I hear you say control, but my God, I know a lot of broke women that want control too, Barbie. You know, there's a lot of broke babies that want control too.
So usually they know what they want their man to look and act and show up a certain way. And if he's not acting, looking, or showing up a certain way, I'm talking about the way he dressed, right? Because if she's successful, she's going to many different events and she's wanting him to dress a certain way. Usually with the way he dressed probably wasn't a problem, but now it's like, okay, now I'm comparing you. I've reached a different height. I want you to look a certain way. Now you're trying to control. You're trying to change the way he looks, the way he acts, what he does, the way he shows up. And this is why it doesn't work, because you are not allowing him to be him. And that's the person you married. So I'm confused on why you are wanting something different. I think they just started, they imagine what it is that they want their life to look like, including their husband, and they try to change it from the inside out.
John, they don't just want control, they want his soul.
I don't know. I just don't, because you say control, right? You say control, but I know a lot of women that don't have success and who are female dusty that still want control. So it's just not women that are successful that want control. A lot of these broke babies, Barbie, be manipulative and be wanting to control stuff too. So that's why
it's a difference though, because sometimes the lower tier women, they don't know how they want their man to look like, right? Or how they want him to be. I see the difference between a woman who is successful and a woman who is, just traditional, enjoys her day-to-day life as far as just existing within her dynamic within a family, in comparison to a woman who's still trying to climb, who still wants more, a woman who is, trying to reach perfection. It's a totally different look, and it's a totally different type of control. The control for a woman, I feel like that in more of a traditional setting will be what she cooking, right? Or what type of dishes she buying, because this is usually her element. Her element. I'm sorry. I feel like the control is like it's different from how she caters to her household or how she shows up in life. Yep, boo.
That sounds good. Barbara.
It makes sense, right?
That's all they do is sound good.
Yeah, I don't think, because I see the same type of control across the spectrum. I just, maybe they're a little bit more adamant about it, but I don't know. It's just an amazing, phenomenon to me. When we start to think of relationships, and this is honestly a good segue into what we're talking about. This marrying up, women, I'm marrying up, and let me ask y'all this: do y'all honestly think it's realistic for women, black women in particular, to marry up on a consistent basis? And what is y'all definition of marrying up? Let's start there. Like, what does that mean? Marry, is that just money? Somebody help me out with that.
Why can't you just marry equally, or marry who's just for you? Why does it have to be marrying up or down? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just all these elements and things. They don't think so complicated. Just get married, you know what I mean?
That mac and cheese must be juicy.
What you say, Cat?
That wasn't me.
I'm sorry. I thought it was you.
So again, what do y'all mean, or what do y'all think with this marrying up? Is it just finances from a woman's perspective? Like, when a woman says, "I married up," or "I want to marry up," what does that mean?
Is it still finances if you're marrying for legacy? Because maybe he doesn't make as much as you, but as far you stand to gain. He stands to gain wealth through his family. Is that still marrying up?
No, Bobby, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. There, she's looking up to the sky, praising the Lord while she's getting married. That's married up.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's my perspective. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I've always looked at marrying up as a woman saying, "I married a man that was higher." Well, I mean, we could say out of my league, like up, like higher. I mean, I always looked at it as finances. Like that's how it's always been explained to me.
Is it including status though? I guess.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to say, Josh, is he comes from a family, like the family is very, or she comes from a family that's very wealthy. Is it still looking at it in the money wise, or their name is well recognized? I don't know how much wealth they have, but they have a status in the community. That's still marrying up, right?
So Josh's question was, how realistic is it to marry up? So if we're going by your definition, Barbie, would you say it's unrealistic or very realistic?
Unrealistic. If I was to say marrying up is per like status, per name, I think it's unrealistic. I think most people are now trying to marry on their their level. Either you're trying to marry on your level or above, but I think majority of the people are trying to marry, someone who's on their level.
Interesting. Okay. So Barbie, you're saying that you don't think it's just finances, but if you start talking legacy, don't they have to do with finances?
I mean,
if you're a woman and you marry a man, watch this, Barbie. If you're a woman and you marry a man whose current earning and future earning potential will most likely be lower than your earning potential, have you married up? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think it points to Candace, what she put in the chat, right? If he is emotionally intelligent, right? That is a word. But I think you can marry up in that standpoint, right? Where you're no longer arguing with the person. Like, life is easy, right? He may not make as much money as you, but you married up because this is someone you can actually deal with within life. And you can actually grow with. That's marrying up to me, to be honest with you. Somebody you can grow with. I don't care how much money you make, but I can grow with you and make more money with you. Oh, this is a plus. Like, I married up. Like, I'm up.
But is that up if we on the same level? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, stop letting her redefine.
Yeah, like, am I married up, Barbie? If we all kind of, on the same level.
For the most part, it only means is financially. Marrying up is, for the most part, is financially.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. I thought
yeah.
we talking about. Yeah,
that's for the most part. That's what that means.
Unless a man is sure he married a tall woman.
But that's a fact.
Jesus. But
shout out to that mountain climber.
But so okay. So we talking about finance. So what does it mean when a man marries up?
Ain't Liz like 6'1"?
The same thing, money.
She could be more.
That's why. See, this is where I get confused. Because is a man marrying a woman that makes more money than him, and it's just money, meaning that he married up? Because men don't value that money the same way women do.
Yes, they do. A lot of them do. Yes, they do. Even if they don't say it, yes, they do.
Corey, you value that money? He can't talk properly. But is that true though?
Josh. Man, do you think men are really marrying up? Josh? Do you? even if she got. I mean, really, think about it.
What y'all think? Because I'm collaborating with Clubhouse.
I've been really marrying up. That's a great question.
On my thing. What y'all think? Y'all can call me on my podcast.
Is it a fear of how you'll be treated?
Who asked that question?
It's me, Lamont. It is I.
I knew it sounded toxic. I just didn't.
No,
Men are marrying up just as well as women are marrying up. That is about finances. Do y'all agree on my podcast? Welcome to the Ella Gray Being Random podcast. I'm collabing. I'm in Clubhouse in a space with them as well. I'm collabing with them. So, a lot of men might not say it, but yeah, they be on that type of time too. It ain't just women. Men do as well. Hey, son of God.
So you saying Anthony Davis lacked confidence because he married a white?
Did he say he married out of his league? Did he say he married up?
No, he married down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wanted to throw a man under a bus. So.
Yeah. But you know what though? Yeah, because if a man says I'm married out of my league, I'm side-eyeing him with the quickness. I look at him with a little.
What do you mean out of his league?
I'm married out of my league. What does that mean? You married out your league?
Do you feel like Keon married up?
I'm going on mute.
Oh my God! I don't know.
Yes, he did. He married up.
Oh, because you can't see my topic. Okay, earlier we was talking about the before movement with the women, kind of like falling back with not having sex with men. They're not getting married. They're not dating. They're the before movement. That's what we was talking about earlier. Then I just switched over and I collab with Clubhouse, and they're talking about men basically. If women marry up, are men the ones who are settling? If women marry up, right? I don't know if y'all can see it in my chat because I've been having poor connection for a minute now. But you can also call in if you want to. But we can continue in the chat if you want to as well. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. And for the most part, marrying up is about finances. Point blank period.
To your question about Keon, I think that was a lateral marriage. I think they were purposely made for each other.
I don't.
What she said.
That's a wonderful political season.
Miss Didi.
No, he definitely wasn't broke. Don't do that.
Broke.
Nah, he never was.
He was definitely come up for him. Y'all got it.
But not broke.
Miss Didi, when last time you caught a flight?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, I had to put on one right now. The hell she mean? Anyway, carry on. She on timeout. She can come back in 2 minutes.
Damn, why are you doing that to me? Have respect for your elders.
He messing with you, D. He messing with you.
I'm his elder. You better stop.
He messing with you, Miss D.
I put elders on flight. I'm just joking with you, Miss D. I'm
messing with you.
But seriously, you don't think Keon had to come up marrying Shawnee?
I think he didn't get a come up. Good move both.
Oh, well, no, Miss Didi, it wasn't a come up. Keon Henderson was one of my best friends in real life, and he was far from broke. Trust me.
No, I'm not saying
he didn't have as much money as Shawnee.
I was playing with the broke.
And now they talking about Keon and
as far as Shawnee.
Keon and Shawnee off of Basketball Wives. I think she was hold on. I think she was I forgot what basketball player she married. Was it Shaq? I think. Shawnee, one of them, Basketball Wives. Y'all can go and see. That's what they're talking. Now they're talking about Keon, the pastor Keon, who was married to what that girl name? Megan, I forgot. Good, I think it was. Yeah, I think that's who. Yeah, I think she was married. Yeah, that pastor that was married to him. Now he's married to Shawnee off of Basketball Wives.
These waiting for the last 30 minutes. So do y'all call that a come up? Like that? See, that's what I struggle with. Like come up to me sounds like I'm really not supposed to be here, but I'm here. You see what I'm saying? I don't supposed to be here, but listen, I ain't came up. I didn't came up.
Josh,
started from the bottom, now we here.
Josh, can we put Candace in time out for 5 minutes, please?
What she did?
I'm sick of Candace.
Why? What she do? I'm just asking clarifying questions to push the topic forward.
Is that your final answer?
I mean, it really is.
She's so petty. She's so petty.
I just asked the question.
I just want to know why white women are marrying up and black women were marrying down.
Jeez.
Oh.
What?
Ooh. God. I mean, that is.
Because they're still marrying within their race.
Ooh. My God.
They choosing violence tonight.
Let me. You know what though? Let me go ahead and play this video then, because that was the context of the video. My God, Tori, that's how you feel, Tori? That's how you feel, man of God?
I think it's pretty. You say white women. I think it's pretty
I
much.
couldn't hear what Torian said. Can he repeat himself?
Don't worry, I'm about to play the video. Wait 1 second. Hold up. Here we go.
I feel like his comment is a dig to black men, to be honest with you.
No, it's a dig to the mentality of black women. Mute up, Black Tor.
Hold on, I'm about to play this video.
Black men need to level up, but go ahead.
That's exactly what he's saying.
I'm about to play the video.
Historically, women always married up. Wouldn't that mean that men married down? Absolutely. So men in that case would be settling, right? A lot of men settle. Here's a real conversation in there that you ain't ready for. White women marry up. Okay? And most of our sisters marry down. You're not ready for that conversation. That can take you a whole other place right now. I told you I've been drinking. So you might want to get that mic on. No. But let's explore though. Why do you believe that most white women marry up and minorities, black women marry up? Because white women have been trained by their mothers to marry up.
Yep.
The man is supposed to take care of you.
They have.
Where a lot of times, a lot of our sisters have been told that black men ain't shit. You feel what I'm saying? I do it for myself because I made it on my own. You're not ready for that conversation. Get that mic off because I've been drinking. Do you think that is why in society it is sometimes deemed that angry black woman is more masculine, whereas you see a lot of brothers getting with white women because they're more submissive?
They are.
The NBA draft class this year, a bunch of high yellow brothers like me and him in that class. So what you think? Absolutely. If historically women always marry.
My God.
He ain't wrong. Shout out to the white women.
Is he right or is he wrong?
He right.
Is he wrong or is he right?
I didn't know where he was going at first. At first I was saying, stop this video. But like I said, Barbie, it wasn't an indictment on the black man. It was an indictment on the mentality of the black woman, because you feel like you can do bad by yourself and the black man ain't doing this, and white women just loving their men, and they love us as well.
No, the indictment that Torian spoke to was an indictment on black men, if you ask me. But I mean, it could be taken that way. I need Josh to send me the clip so I can listen to it.
Oh, my bad. I thought I had it pinned.
Hi, this is Shanti, if I may.
Hey, Shanti.
I think the only thing that I didn't follow with that was at the point when he said black women, they're independent, they do all, like, they can do everything by themselves, which would indicate that they're not getting married. So I don't know if those are the black women that are speaking to the point of black women are marrying down, unless those black women are just marrying anyone. So if anybody can just clarify that for me.
Yeah, it's hard for us to clarify that because we didn't say it. But yeah, that's a tough one there. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, because if we were talking about the mentality of black women, a lot of them, because I know for a long time there was a lot of talk about how black women are the ones that are getting married less. It's not even black men. Black men do marry. Black women aren't getting married as much as black men are. And there is the mentality of black women say, I can do it all by myself. So I would imagine those black women with that mentality, they're taken out of the equation of the black women who are marrying. And if you're looking at the black women who are marrying, they would be the ones that are marrying down. Which would... Oh, go on, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I will also say, if people feel like black women are marrying down, maybe they actually found value in the men that people say they are marrying down to. So maybe they're finding value in those black men, right? When the community or society does not value them. So I would like to say black women tend to value their black men, regardless of how other people may look at their value.
But do you think most black women are marrying down? Based on y'all definition that we just started talking about this marrying down.
I think they're married within their league.
JB, I was just sitting there thinking, most of my friends are married. And we've had several conversations. I've been around their wives. I've never seen or heard or even indicated in any type of way any of these women that felt like they married down. Now, of course, most of my friends are doing extremely well for themselves, but I don't know. It's a fascinating concept.
And in the video, the gentleman said that the white women were groomed to, find certain men. And so with that thought process, are they actually marrying because they're marrying because of, like, let's say, they're truly in love with that person, or is it because of what that person can give to them and the fact that they don't mind being, submissive to that man and allowing him to lead so long as he's providing everything that she needs him to provide? So it's not necessarily like the nuclear family that people really think about. It's more so transactional.
I don't think most white women marry up. A lot of these.
Yeah, that's fine, bro.
I don't think most white. You know how many broke white women and white men we got in this country too.
Josh, half the NBA league is married to white women.
I'm not talking about the 1%. I'm just talking like we look at the country. And I talk about the celebrities, what we see and stuff. I'm talking like the average. Man, I don't think most white women are marrying up.
But Josh, you have people who, are on like certain platforms tell women, you should give these guys a chance. You should work with these guys. You have to work with the people, work with the person that you're wanting to marry, right? Or within your demographics. I hear that conversation all the time on Clubhouse. So I don't think a lot of within our community, we're telling people to marry up, our people to marry up. I don't hear that often.
Josh, I think when people, for instance, somebody that gets married like really young and neither one of them got anything, they work and help each other. But then again, when you older, I think you like with Barbie, like you try to find or get someone that's compatible, not necessarily marrying up or down. You know what I'm saying? Now for me, when I married my husband, he didn't have no degrees, none. He was a respiratory therapist, certified, whatever it was. But I encouraged him to go back to school. I already had my degrees working in a career for almost 20 years. So was that marrying up or down for me? So I guess y'all would call it a marrying down. But however, he went, he got his degree, got his master's, he went, got his teacher stuff. So now, is he equal to me? I don't know. But it wasn't a big deal for me to encourage him to go back to school because I had my shit together. You know what I mean? And I encouraged him. I said, you want to go to school? What do you want to do? So he went back and got all the stuff he needed to be a registered therapist, respiratory therapist. And then he's like, well, the hours is bad. You don't get the time to spend with the family, blah, 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 blah. I encouraged him to go back, get the school stuff. And he did, but that didn't work out. So he just went back to the respiratory stuff. You know what I mean? So in my mind, I don't know if you call that marrying down. I guess you did, but by the time he got all the stuff that I encouraged him to do and supported him, he made more money than me. So what do you call that?
We don't know what you mean.
Oh no!
Just Kev, shut up, Kev.
Listen, Kev, just because I'm not a regular all the time, that's not
Kev. Go ahead.
No, you asked the question.
No, I'm saying to y'all with what you're saying and the way you're describing it, I married down. However, by the time 5, 6, 7 years went by, he made more money than me. So what do we call that?
Josh, do you know what broke up?
There's a return on investment. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's the right word. There you go.
Do you know what broke up the 5 heartbeats?
What broke up the 5 heartbeats?
Oldest.
What is marrying down?
Flash one at Eddie King's spot.
Honey, mute your mic.
Sweetie.
Get to talking. Mute up.
I said hi.
That's your love.
That is his love.
Praise the Lord.
Oh my God.
Why are you talking to your lady like that, Corey?
We are not going to do this tonight, y'all.
What? Okay, let me just go ahead and kick you out of the Don't worry about it. Oh my God.
Is that who I think? Oh my God. Is that who I think is down there?
Yeah, but do y'all think? But is it? But
Eddie Kane, Josh.
Yeah, Eddie Kane. Okay.
Eddie Kane broke up the 5 Heartbeats. You know why?
He was on drugs.
Eddie Kane was on drugs, and he thought he was the best singer. You know what breaks up a lot of groups? It's always that lead singer that let everybody else tell him that he would be better with a solo career. And when I hear this perspective of marrying up and marrying down, it reminds me of the Eddie Kane syndrome or the Ralph Tresvant syndrome, where you got a good thing together, right? But you always want to get out and have this solo mentality, this isolated perspective. Who's better? This competition. We marrying up, marrying down. 2 are supposed to come together to become 1. So if I'm up and she's down, then guess what? We up because I'm up. But I don't know. I don't understand it. But let's carry on the conversation. I like what Miss Chicken Wings just said. Her husband, had a GED and she had a bunch of degrees. And she encouraged him to go to college, and now sound like he making the money.
Miss Chicken Wing.
Oh, I'm a chicken wing now.
Well, I don't know what you was eating. I don't know what you was eating, Miss Didi.
Hold on, do y'all, but Corey, why we acting like that? We know black and brown people, poverty communities, but why do we think that all these white people got all this money? Y'all know how many broke white folk in this country?
I bought a homeless white man a piece of 7-Eleven this morning.
I'm just saying, the average couple that's getting married that is of Caucasian persuasion is literally meet each other where they are. I don't understand. Is that not what black people are doing? I think we're doing the same thing. I think the average black couple that is getting married is meeting each other somewhere where they're close. Now I'll say this.
They made the title.
But I'm going to what I was talking about earlier. But Barbara, this is why I think it's hard for our successful queens. I think it's hard because that y'all get that success, Barbie, and think you automatically qualified.
That is true.
I'm just saying, you think I got this success, I'm automatically I'm qualified for this. But that's why I asked that question, because I don't think a man marrying a woman with a bunch of money is a man marrying up. We don't value money like that.
That is true. That's true.
I mean, we value money, but we don't value you making that money like that. So so what does that look like? What does it look like when men marry up? Is it just financial, just like women?
I think it's looks. That's how the girl looks.
Depending on which man.
And
some men
did Kanye marry up or did he marry down?
Some men marry into the family, like what the family name is and stuff like that as well, right? What the daughter can bring in regards to notoriety, and how she can help him, the family help him build. But I mean, I don't know. In 2024, it kind of depends. I've heard a lot of men say, you know what? If she makes a lot of money, that's a plus. I'm not gonna fight it anymore.
Yeah, cause I stay in Atlanta, and most of these men out here, they be on that marrying up the woman with the finances. They really be on that, especially the younger men. They really be on that type of stuff. The money with the women.
Did you say the yellow man?
I say I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
The younger man, right?
Yeah, the younger men and the men out here, they be on that. Yeah, they really be on that.
Are you born and raised in Atlanta, Miss Ella?
I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've been in Atlanta.
Where in Louisiana?
Baton Rouge.
Oh, okay, BR. All right.
Yeah, I've been in Atlanta 12 years.
I don't know how y'all don't hear
that.
I've been in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's
I knew I heard Woods.
Yeah.
You said, nigga? What you said?
So for the men on the stage, right? How do you value, or what's your value system as it relates to marrying up? You marry up if
I think it looks. I think when a man marries a woman, that's very beautiful, and he looked like he snuck on Earth, I think that's what we think.
Snuck on Earth is outrageous.
Yeah, Barbara, when he is spatially challenged. Did you say snuck on Earth? When he looked like, when he looked, hey, Barbara, when he looked like he done slipped out of hell and slipped on Earth. Yeah, I think that's when people say, oh yeah, you married up. You got a good looking woman. You know, yeah, you look like a wildebeest, but you married an angel. Yeah.
What happened? So Josh, what happens when you're normal though? Like, what's married up when you're normal? When you disregard?
What you mean by normal?
There's delusion around. You know what? Never mind.
I think marrying up is what you find as marrying up. Like, what are you looking for? What is on a high priority for you?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is marrying up for a man? Like, what does that look like?
Money. Keep telling y'all.
Does she have to have some money? Does she have to have education? Does she have to have more than you for it to be up? Because what does that? What does marry up look like for a man?
Get the same. It's money.
So whatever you think is extremely important for you to make you feel elevated as a man.
I'm gonna go with Atlas. Her character, competency, her networking. That's what I look for too.
So that's marrying up to you. So
what if you don't need none of that?
Right.
That's the question. I mean, I hear you, but
if anyone has ever looked at you and looked at your lady and said you must have a great personality, that is the telltale sign that you married up. And I think a lot of men, y'all are very delusional in the fact that money, financial success is extremely important for you because in developing a personality, because without it, you will not have the pick of the litter. God did not give you the genes to be considered an average or an attractive man. So again, if you picked her because of your personality, more than likely, you married up.
My God, can I hear this from the men? Jesus.
Well, that's for the first.
Yeah,
for the most
I
part.
thought Corey would like the networking, but he didn't catch it.
That was clutching his pearl.
Oh, you said networking, not net. Okay.
You're saying that you so ugly that if you married a beautiful woman, that's marrying up. Because you ain't even got the looks or whatever to even... Yeah, that's crazy.
No.
I know a couple women like that. Anyways, Corey,
I've seen really beautiful women with ugly men, though. I've seen that.
And when you see it, you know it's his personality or his money.
Right. That's, yeah.
You repeat that last statement?
Well, comparing to what people think is ugly, I'm not saying
the name tag is Dr. B was saying.
Les, repeat that last statement.
What?
So what happens when she's ugly and he's very handsome? Is that marrying up too?
I don't know what that is. I think y'all are... I don't know what that is, but I think y'all are being slightly...
She looked like, let me stop.
Hey Josh, I got one of the little homies out here in Phoenix. I'm trying to tell him to go and marry up. Now he is he 25, JB, and the heir to U-Haul. They right here in Phoenix. She a big bag wildebeest, but I'm just saying, hey, they worth billions of dollars. You may want to take one for the team and go and marry up.
Nigga, did you say what? Wait. Big bag what?
Wildebeest. But but you may want to take one.
What is a big bag wildebeest?
For your legacy right there. For you.
See what I told you? Men be thinking about that money too. I told you. Told you.
But I've heard like men like the marrying up. I think people think it's like crazy where you're looking at looks, thinking about if like how can that be considered a marrying up? Because you hear maybe on movies, maybe in your real life where somebody was married. They were first married to this, beautiful woman, and then they go and they bring their girlfriend to the function. They're like, "Oh, you did good, but boy, like, yeah, you did. Hey, I'm proud of you. You leveled up. Like, they know that you married up or you did well because they're now comparing who you used to be with to who you are with now.
right? And that could be on many different facets, but usually it's with looks because they know nothing of the person, but they see the woman walk in and they like, yeah, you did good. I'm proud of you. You do. I know we not tripping and saying we haven't heard that.
Barbie,
I heard that before.
The only way a man can marry up is Josh just said it. It's looks. So you're right.
I also think though, like, because I think guys can pick up on certain things like about women that women don't necessarily pick up like about each other when we first meet. Like just like I'm not drinking anything, but the alcohol bottle that you see in my profile, that's my family business. Nevertheless, what guys notice, and I notice this a lot, like when my sisters and I like walk into a room and there's a lot of guys there. My older sister, she looks very young. She's like 37, but people think she's like 25 sometimes. Just the way that her posture is, the way that she dresses, her skin, the way she takes care of herself. A lot of guys will come up to me and talk to me about it and be like, oh my gosh, like your sister this, your sister that, all these different types of stuff. And I feel as though, yes, you can look beautiful, but not just that. The way that you carry yourself, how you talk, just the way that you interact with people. If you're overly, if you're trying to talk to too many people and stuff like that and whatnot, like people around, especially men, will pick up on that to see like, oh, that particular woman is not the type of woman that I would want, or that particular woman is some woman of interest based off of how she behaves. So I feel like when sometimes you bring that girl to like the cookout or something like that, and you're introducing her to the family, even though they don't know all of her accomplishments, if she has any, or they haven't really spoken to her, just seeing how she interacts with people is enough to give you an indicator like, oh, this person is someone that you would be marrying up based off how she handles herself, if that makes sense, if that tracks.
It didn't.
You say it didn't?
It made sense to me.
Yeah.
Well,
I think she basically
acting like
I think she basically
privilege don't matter.
I think she just basically said, hey, I got this, my family business in my picture. Any man that marry her, marrying up. That's what she just said.
Pretty privilege is a thing. I don't know why people act like it's not. People get jobs based off of how they look and everything. Men open doors and treat you a certain way when you look a certain way, right? And it's not just how you look; it's how you present yourself, your aura, and all that. Like it's a combination of things. But don't get it twisted. Men love the way women look, and if you look a certain way, you're going to get certain levels of attention, and that's just what it is. So if you marry a woman that looks a certain way, people is going to automatically be like, dang, how you get her? Like, wow, she's this or that.
That's what they're going to say if you get with Corey?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but to a certain extent, right? Because once people find out that...
like, what is going on?
Now that, when someone finds out that, like, you're with a bad shit crazy person, like, men only can tolerate so much. Like, okay, like, if you're with a hot girl just for, like, a moment or something like that, that's one thing. But if you're marrying a hot girl who happens to be bad shit crazy, like out of pocket, straight up disrespectful, doesn't care about you, your peace, your family, respect nothing, people are gonna say you're not marrying up. I don't see people realistically being like, oh, you're marrying up. They'll be like, get the hell away from that woman.
If somebody married you, would they be marrying up? Would people look at that man and say,
no personal attacks?
That's not a personal attack. It's just a... Who said that?
At the moment, when I'm ready to get married, absolutely, yeah. I believe the person would, no matter what, be marrying up, and that's just...
Ladies, put a 1 in the chat if you think whatever man you marry will be marrying up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Put a 1 in the chat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then tell us why. Why would he be marrying up? What if it's for the 1?
That man got sleep tonight. Don't do that.
I can't say when I say my husband married Will.
Yeah, and what about you makes you say that? That's a good question. Good question, Corey.
Just know, ladies,
as
you put a 1 in the chat, I am looking at the texture of your wig. Just so you know. But it's a safe space. 1 in the chat if you think that you will be...
That's a jerk.
A marrying up for a man. It's a safe space and it's good.
It's indeed not a safe space. In case anyone,
he's so petty.
But Candace already.
I want to.
Yeah, you know what? You know what?
Candace already explained why she said she married up spiritually. Emotionally, spiritually.
I didn't see you put anything.
So many things. Financially.
So Candace, you basically said you said
I am a thumb. No. I mean, I feel like I did, but I think that you should feel like the person you're marrying is going to challenge you and pull you and make you think about things differently, help you grow. I mean, just so many different things. Like, I believe as a woman, in order to be led, like, it's not just about, you making the decision on, where we're going to go to eat or, okay, we're going to go right. Like, no, I'm being led in so many different ways. And I don't feel like someone who was at the same level as me could have done that. So I like being able to say, like, I look up to the person that I'm married to. This person is a role model to me. This person is also a mentor. This person, is just beyond my equal. But that's just me. Y'all don't have to
probably won if you advised them.
Candace, would you say that Josh is raising you?
What? No, we're growing together.
What in the question is that?
That's a toxic question, and I kind of feel like I know why he asked that question, but I'm not even going to entertain it. But there are some women who have said that, they feel that way in their marriages, and I get why they say what they say, but we didn't meet at an age where that would be our story.
Josh, do you feel like you're raising Candace?
She's so toxic. Hey, you know what he really want to ask you, Candace? He want to ask you, can I walk it out and tell you it's time to go to bed?
He's a toxic man.
It's your bedtime. That's what he want to ask. He really want to say, can Josh Ball coming out and say, what you still doing up? It's past your bedtime.
If he tell me to, well, I ain't gonna say that. But Corey, it's time to get off these streets. It's because single Corey is different.
Your husband told me I got till April 21st. He said
to get married again?
To even consider it.
To even start dating. Yeah, winter is coming. Winter is coming.
Winter's coming. I got somebody in mind for you.
Yeah, April 21st. Yeah,
he gotta wait till April.
Because he's in the incubator, Barbie.
What?
He's in the incubator.
He's an egg that hasn't hatched yet. If you take him out that oven before April 21st, it will be hell of a.
They said you were different when you were married.
Yeah, my eyes have been opened.
I got somebody for you. Do you? If she's a little heavy-handed, though.
What?
Okay.
What that means? She gonna slap him?
I mean, you hear how he shows up on this app. She may have to raise him, by way of discipline. But
is you in the matchmaking industry?
No, I just have someone in mind for the professor. But we'll wait until April and
is she a throat goat?
I mean, that'll be their discovery along the way.
Kidding.
Never asked her personally.
I didn't want to know what it is.
How do you know she's heavy-handed? Physically heavy-handed, or just like her energy is heavy-handed?
Like physically.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I heard Corey a little bit of a masochist. The heavy hand might come in handy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Another news.
You mean she built like a church mother?
What?
She put on a pair of Timberland boots and
I don't know. Some of them church mothers be what y'all need. Corey, you need a church mother.
I can see that for him. Somebody to carry peppermints in her purse.
Yeah, what? He need a good old style
You know, he already engaged. He already got a lady. He didn't tell y'all?
Well, I know he got a baby on the way. So that makes sense. Oh, you didn't tell him about the baby?
Oh, Lord.
So y'all done made AO leave. You know, when there's too much foolishness, AO dips up out of here.
Candace, PTR. Go and see the engagement photos.
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God. What? Wait, what?
I didn't realize that.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I didn't know y'all didn't know.
What? I didn't know.
Yeah.
That is wild
Congratulations, Corey. And you know, put a heart and a honey pot in the chat for Corey.
Not a heart and a honey pot.
Corey got so excited when you came on stage. So now I see.
Not a heart and a honey pot.
Yes.
Who you dating, Corey?
crazy.
You want to tell him, Corey, or should I?
That's slang. That's a slang for. Hold on.
I'm out. Oh, Lance so toxic.
I just celebrate Black love. That's all.
Not Prince with the honey. No.
I love it.
I'm not even gonna do you like that, Corey. This is a violation.
But I'm out of Corey's dating. Nope, I'm out.
Is it possible for both people to marry up?
Yes, absolutely.
What does that
look like?
Different categories.
Yes.
I think Honey had. I think it was Honey who articulated it. Whereas, you know, the man's needs, whatever his marrying up qualifications are, when they're met, and then the woman's qualifications for marrying up are met. When both of those align, I think both parties are quite happy with what they've got. You know, I don't think it's I don't think it's appropriate, you know, for let's say the woman to be marrying up, but the man to feel like he's marrying down. I think that's incredibly wary, and then vice versa for the woman. But then is it Chicken Wing? I don't mean to call her Chicken Wing, but I think she's gone now. Some people would have looked at her as, you know, marrying down at the time, but now she's received the return on investment. So there are some people who don't mind investing in the moment. They're not getting, you know, exactly what they want all at once in the moment, but they do believe that they will get it in time, which marriage is a times game. So I think that person has the potential to marry up. So if that potential is there, I think it's worth
everybody not
as much, but it's worth something. Because some people, at the time you can marry, both people feel like they've married up, and then time goes on, and some people start to slack, or one of the partners starts to slack. So then they're no longer in that situation where they feel like they married up.
This is kind of making me confused.
I got a question then. So if a woman makes 2 to 3 times more money than the man,
this is ridiculous.
She marries that man, would y'all consider that marrying up?
It depends on who's doing the bending.
Oh, what? Oh, let me.
She's still doing the business. She's still doing the business.
Okay, first of all, thank y'all for joining the Ella Gray Being Random podcast. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank y'all. Hey, Jimmy Crumbs. Hey, JMS. I can't see everybody on here, but thank y'all for hanging out with me. Point blank period. That marrying up, it means, y'all know what that means. I don't know why they just bouncing around with the word. Marrying up means finances, money, point blank period. Now everybody can have their own example of marrying up. You have your own example of marrying up, but in the streets, the slang period, it means money. Marrying up means money. What y'all think? Y'all can put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all think. But that's what that means. I just was in a room with on Clubhouse, because sometimes I collab with Clubhouse, sometimes I collab with X. So, and sometimes Chatter. So they'll invite me to their rooms, and I'll collab with them on my podcast. Thank y'all for the hearts as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what it means. Money. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they did this. Like I said, they just bouncing around with the situation. They talking about, do men really, you know what I'm saying, be looking for a woman who who has a lot of money or more money than them. Yeah, men be looking for that just as well as women be looking for that. You know, it is what it is. And at the same time, it's like, point blank period. I feel it shouldn't just be love that you marry a person and you start being committed to a person. It shouldn't just be love. You have to have that stability. You understand what I'm saying? Of finances. You have to have that stability of respect. You know what I'm saying? Being humble, being kind, being understanding. All that falls into play. And especially God, because you gotta have God at the head of the situation. And the man, in order for the woman to be submissive, the man has to make God be the head of his life. You understand? For you to even feel comfortable, you know, letting that man lead you. Permanent period. He has to let God lead him. So then the woman fall in place and lead, you know what I'm saying, or allow him to lead. Because if he's letting God lead him, he's gonna make the decisions that God wants him to make. Permanent period. And then the woman gonna see it and understand, okay, you know what I'm saying? Because she know one thing. That man put God first. That man went to God first with any decision that he had about the family. He's going to go in his prayer closet or wherever he go to pray and talk to God about decisions. And God going to give him the answer. And then that's when he bring it to the family. And then there they go. See, people keep forgetting you got to have God in the situation, point blank period. And the man, in order for him to be the head of the household, he's going to have to let God be the head of him. Now, if that man don't do that and the woman putting God the head of her, then guess what? She's considered being the head, because therefore that means that she's going straight to God about the decision that she needs to make about the family. And till that man come along, you know, with that concept, I gotta make God be the head, because that's the only way I can be the head of this household. See, people gotta get off that old stuff, but the man is the head, the man is the head, the man is the head. But what if you got a man being the head and he leading y'all the wrong way, leading y'all straight to hell, leading y'all, you know? Come on now. They got to get realistic with the situation. That man has to make God the head of his life. That's the only way he's going to be able to make good decisions for the family. And if the woman, is the one in that marriage, in that relationship, and that's allowing God to be the head, then she's the head, point blank period. And then till he, you know, he catch up. Both of them can be the head. Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't, relationships, not these days, people just, point blank period. It's not just love. It ain't just love. You got to have all of it. It needs to be all of it. Because when all those other parts are missing, you are going to catch hell in your relationship. It's going to be very, very difficult in your relationship, especially if you remove God out that relationship. Point blank period. Because God already saying that y'all are becoming one. So if you remove him out of that relationship, out your marriage relationship, you know, yeah, it's going to be a bad situation. I'm telling you, I experienced it. It's going to be a bad situation. Point blank period. People need to understand that. Finances plays a big, important role in your marriage, in your relationship. I'm telling you, people need to stop with that foolishness. They need to stop with that foolishness. And then again, they got some women that only, or some men that only marry for money. Just because of the money. You got some people that are like that. You know, and it's going to be difficult for them as well. It's going to be difficult for them because they're going to still feel, you know, something that's missing. It's going to be something that's going to be missing. And then a lot of times they be miserable until they go shopping. You want to go shopping for about 2-3 hours, however, when you get back home, you buy all this stuff, you still miserable. You still miserable. You got the money, yeah, you got the big house, you know, all that, you know, yeah, all that financial material stuff, yeah, you got all that, but guess what? You still are miserable. They ain't gonna say it. They, you know what I'm saying? Them people be still miserable. In some type of shape, form, or fashion, they're still miserable. It is what it is. Like, people just need to stop all that bouncing around all of this stuff when dealing with in relationships. I know for a fact, money is a big deal. Your sexual intimacy, you know what I'm saying, is a big deal. You know, really is. Respect is a big deal. You understand me? Some people in relationships, just because the man or the woman has a whole lot of money, will allow that person to disrespect them and treat them bad and all that kind of stuff. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, because it's about their money. It's about money. And that's just stupid. I mean, really just stupid. You know, so, and they was talking about how white women and black women, how white women be more submissive, and how it got black women, that's been trained to marry up, and it got white women that's been trained to marry up. Chinese, all kind of, all kind of, it just depends on how you've been raised and trained. Has a lot to do with who you marry or who you be in a relationship with. Some people take that, some women and men take that to heart. Their family grilling them and saying, look, you don't mess with nobody, and they say, boo, 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 boo. They gotta have this type of statue, this type of standard, whatever. And especially if they see that within their family, if they see their daddy, is wealthy or rich, what I'm talking about, and they, they see that type of stuff within their family, of course they're gonna be like, well, that it is what it is, But yeah, I'm finna get off of here, y'all, in a few minutes. Go check out the fan club. The fan club membership, $5 one time. $5 one time. It's gonna go for a good cause. I'm opening a group home next year for preteen teen girls at risk. We already got our 501c3 status. We already been doing stuff in the community. Y'all can look us up on the Secretary of State. We are legit. We do have a 501c3 status. We've been having it since 2018. $5, y'all. It's gonna be. Yeah. Thank you for liking the show. Thank you for hanging out. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a novice, y'all. And I told you, I keep telling y'all, a novice only mean I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, and most of my stuff is not, all of my stuff not edited. Because I don't even know how to edit, y'all. Everything I do is just live, raw, and uncut. Y'all want to see when I be getting on here with my churn. We be cutting up. I'm gonna collab my podcast with my YouTube channel, so y'all can actually see us, see us, how we be, the bloopers and all this different stuff. I got a lot of stuff coming up for y'all too as well. We're gonna start having game night, playing games with y'all, stuff like that. Especially the members. I'm gonna do a lot of storytelling with my fan club members, because my story is a story that's gonna change some lives. Trust and believe. It's my whole family got stories. Fan club members, y'all got some stuff. Yeah, y'all gonna change y'all life. Y'all gonna want to say, Lord Jesus, help me. I need to change. But yeah, Podbean only give me 2 hours, so it's 1:56. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I always say Atlanta, Georgia. But thank y'all for coming and hanging out with your girl. Y'all keep y'all notifications on. Follow me. If I follow y'all back, if y'all got a podcast. And yeah, go look at. I'm gonna publish this. Y'all can listen to the whole thing, because y'all know the ones who came in late. Because we started off talking about the B4 movement, the women who's not having sex with men no more. They're not getting married, and they not having children, and all this old extra stuff that they doing, being stupid. Yeah, so yeah, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. They need to pick wives anyways when they're picking a man anyway. So all those stupid, so they need to get themselves together. But anyway. I don't know how long that's gonna last. Yeah. It's gonna be, we're gonna have to do a part 2 to that with that situation there. But yeah, thank y'all for joining me. I might come back later on when my husband get here, because I be trying to get him on here. My husband don't like to get on that. He don't like, not my husband, it's something else. Anyway, y'all. Peace, love, and prosperity, y'all.